When I come upon a revelation, when I'm like, oh my gosh, because when I do recordings of myself, or I listen to myself speak, I catch where I am having trouble trying to explain something because I haven't fully gleaned out that thought process. And so guess what? I smoke a cigarette to not only cement my thought process, but to also go back and into my files of terms and concepts and confirm everything that I know, everything that I have been researching. And so this is the hardest thing for me to say because I live in a world full of people who are under the spell of religion, who are under the spell of what their personal God is. And some of them are in my Jilly Juice crowd. Some of them are people that follow me on Facebook. Some have completely relinquished, any kind of ties because I am speaking blasphemy in their world. And I realize a lot of the religious folk, okay, cast spells on my Facebook, of which why then I delete and I block and I say, I'm done. I am censoring the spells that are being casted on my Facebook. And so this is like, because what was I struggling with when I was listening to my video about God and about why is it that our world is the way it is, and why is there so much killing, why is there so many mistakes being made, why do we keep having to go through a reset all the time? Well, because why couldn't God just make magically everything be a utopian society? Because God doesn't exist. The higher power is you, which is the source of the universe, and you are your own personal God. No, I don't want you to be God to somebody else, though we have little demigods out there that fancy themselves to be a type of God to somebody's wants and needs. Okay, I see people wanting to be a God to someone who wants to get a girlfriend or get a boyfriend or teach them how to organize their life. I mean, we have so many little mini gods out there that want to be a God in someone's life. And because the person doesn't know how to find the information themselves, so they go and turn to a mini God out there and say, okay, you will be my God for at least 90 days and I'll pay you some money to be a mini God. So yes, I'm smoking a cigarette because I'm like, oh my God, I have to speak about this. And so the Vatican, the Freemasons, they understand how to manipulate the usage word of God. That's why there's so many churches. That's why there's so many religions, because someone has figured out how to use spells, how to use words to be the guide to their congregation, to their flock. And then that's how they direct people into thinking a specific way. I mean, it hit me when a lady on my Facebook was trying to say that, when I was talking about mothers and casting spells on the daughters and the daughters casting spells on the mothers, and that's kind of the cycle of this crap between mothers and daughters. And then someone's like, well, my mother is so great. I love her and she loves me and all this stuff. And her mother passed away. And I'm like, sure, your mother cast a spell on you that you are not supposed to live indefinitely. You can love somebody. You can be all lovey-dovey and you can have a great relationship, but you can still cast a spell on someone. Spells are not always like, bad things and curses. Spells can also be driving someone's reality. And so that's why with the Freemasons, there is the G, the Grand Architects. They understand the power of words. And so at the beginning of my book, I am going to talk about the power of words, dogma, doctrines, and diets, and then why we have cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and then why we have eventual death. It is because we have so many people allowing those spells to be cast upon them to drive a reality. And holy crap. And so, yeah, yes, this is going to be blasphemous to those that are Jehovah's Witnesses, those that are Christian, those that are Catholic, those that are Jewish, those that are Muslim, who want to worship a higher power. Why don't you understand the power within you? The reason why your life is the way it is because you're the grand architect of your life and you allowed someone else to manipulate you and give away your power to them. Whether it's to an inaccessible God that you just, okay, I revere this higher power, but don't realize that you hold the power within you. So religion actually can be a very detrimental thing if you don't realize your own power, that you are your own personal God, not to be a God to somebody else. That's why I have been so I don't want to be your guru. I don't want to be your doctor. I don't want to be anyone that really influences where you want to go. Your choice is ultimately your choice, not because of what I say or what I do or what I represent. It's because you're the one that came up with this, with your choice. You're the one that said, okay, I choose to live. And so here are the laws of life. And this is what I'm going to do to follow the laws of life. But I'm telling you, those that give away their power to somebody else will probably not last long on the JJs. I hope they do. And so God makes mistakes. Humans make mistakes. Oh, wait, hold on. Humans are gods. Holy crap. All humans are their own personal God. There's no reason to give your power away to somebody else. There's no reason to go worship somebody else. When you go to a church and you sing all these songs and you read everything out of the Bible, it's like you're casting spells, because some of the things in the Bible, like honor your mother and father. What happens if your mother and father tried to destroy you? What happens if your mother and father tried to guide your perception to where you think you're not able to do something? You really want to honor someone that puts limitations on you? Yeah, they gave me life, they gave me ability to be here, but I outgrew that portion of it. I now have my own mind. I respect that they gave me the opportunity, but at some point, either you evolve, or you evolve with them, or they evolve with you, or they don't. And so some of the commandments in the Bible can be very manipulative. So if your mom and your dad are your God and they have a very specific thought process, it's very destructive to both body, mind, and spirit, what is there to honor when someone's destructive? When the mom and dad pass away and you love your mom and dad and then you want to do everything like them, they cast a spell on you that you can't seem to relinquish, because guess what? The Bible said honor your mother and father. And so this whole thing with religion, and I understand now what's going on with the New World Order. Now I'm going to say the New World looking for order. Because at some point we're going to have to evolve past giving away our power to someone else. And yes, the system is going to try to direct you. But remember, you have the power to recreate. You have the power to create and design your future. And when you live in the past, when you live in old doctrines and old ways, then you're going to have more of the same, which you're going to have intolerance, racism. You're going to have, just very destructive ways in our society, and you're seeing it. And so there must be at some point an evolution in our society. There must be at some point an evolution in our society. And that evolution is stop giving your power away to someone else. But if you don't know your own power, then yes, there's going to be a religion, there's going to be a certain kind of science, and there's going to be a politic that is going to be in place of your purpose, because you don't know your own purpose. You haven't figured out your purpose. You can't even, you can't even create your own future because you don't even have the words. When you don't know the English vocabulary, if you don't know the language and the words and how they're being used, then you'll be subject to somebody else's. And it's more than raise the vibrations, Jane. It's more than that. It's that has its own connotation. It's understanding the power of words and using words to design your future. Because raise your vibrations can go into the whole, oh, be positive, be lovey-dovey, and use that positive and lovey-dovey to manipulate somebody into being something that maybe that's not who they are. And so it's giving people the opportunity to make the choices out there, not direct their thought process to where you're so dogmatic that you have to be positive, you have to be lovey, you have to be this, you have to be that. No, you don't have to be anything. You have to see that there is another avenue that you can take, and you can juggle between the two. And that's why I say get out of all the different doctrines out there, all the little positive people, the empaths that go and just absorb every single energy, and then they go and try to love bomb your friends and family. Oh, raise your vibrations, love bomb this person, love bomb that person. That's just as destructive as you telling someone that they're horrible and they're bad and they're wrong. And so this love between the mother and child is great for the child to develop, but at some point, the mother has to evolve and the child has to evolve. And if they are destroying each other through belief systems, through love bombing each other, then what's the point? What is the point of love bombing people? Do you realize that when you actually release the excess program and all the spells that are cast upon you through politics, religion, and science, that you actually have the design, you can actually design your future, and you can give that to your kids and give them the power to design their future? Or are you going to love them, bomb them to death? Literally to death. And that's what I see a lot in families, is that they have love bombed their kids to death. They dote on their kids. They are so like, oh, I'm going to give you everything you could possibly want. So the kid has no incentive to do anything on their own, because you have given them everything. And so that's like when you want a God to give you a utopian society, you want the God to make everything appear beautiful. No, it's got to be earned. It must be earned. And so that's why you're seeing so much craziness in the world, because so many people are trying to get to the end result of love and devotion and peace and prosperity and balance and health and wellness and whatever the hell that means. And they've never earned it. They want it just appear. They don't want to go through the hard work. And so humans have the ability to invoke destruction in their life, or they have the ability to invoke creation in their life. But it comes with the words. And words create worlds. Words create infrastructure. Words can destroy. Words can build. And a destructive word can build, and a non-destructive word can destroy. And that's the thing, is understanding the discernment between the two. But that takes changing your biochemistry. It's not adopting, a mantra, raise your vibration, oh, be positive, oh, give your power away to some God. I'm telling you, you hold the power, guys. But if you don't know this, then guess what? You're going to have the grand architects like the Freemasons. Guess what? You're going to have the Catholic Church and all the churches and the ministers and all the different, self-proclaimed influencers out there to be your God, because you don't know your own potential. When you're dropping scripture all over the place, you're putting out there spells. You got to be more specific than raise your vibrations. You have to be very specific, because that could be left to interpretation, Jane. And we have so many parroters of the same thing. All the people that are in the ascension world, the energy healing world, they all are parroting the same doctrines that actually come from the grand architects, the Vatican, all the pastors and the priests, and those that are using old doctrines to basically create more of the same. Can you find a different way of saying something that actually will be specific and be a design, and be something that will give somebody a pathway to like, oh, wow, I can actually create this and do this. It's just by simply using different words. And that's going to be the hardest thing for me right now when I start writing this portion about word. So I have to figure out, okay, what do I start with first? Do I start with the Freemasons first in my book? Do I start with the Vatican first? Do I start with history? Do I start with Greek mythology? Do I start with business process reengineering? Do I start with microcosmic, macrocosmic universe? Do I start with science first? It's like, this is like, which do you start with first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it comes down to language. It comes down to words. And if you do not have the command of the English language and you're not very, verbal or very articulate, then you're just going to repeat somebody else's mantras. And that's what I see all over the place, are people repeating the same mantras that someone else said. And there's no original thought. How many times have I heard someone say, raise your vibrations? How many times? What does that even mean? Oh, but it's very popular in the positivity, healing energy world, where people are using energy to destroy each other because they don't want to feel pain or evolution. And so now I have to go and actually focus on the fact that God is you. You are your own God. When you give your power away to someone like Jesus Christ or Satan or Lucifer or some, alien out there like Pleiadians or reptilians or whatever, you're replacing one addiction with another. You're replacing one belief system with another, jockeying between all the demigods out there. And so, humans are very easily influenced because it's easy to program people if they're not aware. And how do you make them aware? Well, it's changing the biochemistry. It really is. Because it's easy to kind of give someone a thought process and then they can go and regurgitate it. And that's what happens in academia, is that you give someone a new thought process. They're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then they'll go and regurgitate and regurgitate and regurgitate. It's not really an original thought of their own. They just regurgitate. Well, what would happen if you actually could be innovative enough to put words together and to design your personal future and then give people out there the possibility to design their future without giving their power away to somebody else? Because somebody else will exploit the power that you give them. Or they'll use it to their benefit, and you're essentially just siphoning your energy off to somebody else with no return. And so I don't want to give my power away to a person, a place, or thing. I want to design my own powerful platform, design my own future, design my own present. And it doesn't mean that I give my power away to something that's inaccessible. That's just a theory. People say that Jesus is just a man, and he probably was, with certain divine potential, certain divine attributes that he had access to that some people did not. But now you guys have access to that. So is he any better than you are? No. But people will put their power and say, okay, I don't have the power to do this, so I'm going to give my power away to you and just basically prop you up, but do nothing for myself. And so I have to kind of just like look at religion, and even in the Jewish religion, when they don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, they believe that the Messiah is still yet to come. Well, hello, you are the Messiah. You are the Messiah. You hold the power to design your own life. You can be the grand architect of your personal life. But no, we have religions and politics and science that want you to give away your power, that want to exploit you. And you're allowing them to do it because you do not know you don't have the command of the language. And when you don't have the command of language and words and understanding language and words and how they're being used, then it's easy to go and parrot. It's so easy. It becomes a natural thing because really humans can be naturally lazy. That's the reason why we have cancer, disease, and chronic illness, because because they want to give their power away to the medical holistic establishment. They want to go find a guru. They want to go find, someone of a higher power to give their power away to tell them what to do. And so when you give your power to have someone tell you what to do, then guess what? You have cancer, you have disease, you have chronic illness, you have death, you have destruction, you have activism, you have all the people that are in conflict with each other, and no one gives allowance to each other, no one understands each other, and then you have people that destroy each other through love bombing and hate bombing. And so, yes, that term, raise your vibrations, trigger the hell out of me, because I hear that so much in the empath healing world, energy healing world. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just like, have an original thought, you guys. Why do you keep parodying your friends and family? Have a freaking original thought. What's wrong with you learning how to develop your own platform? What's wrong with that? Why does it always have to be somebody else's platform that you have to regurgitate? But I understand there are regurgitators in our society. But if you're doing the Jilly Juice and you know about Jilly Juice, then regurgitation is not really the mantra. So who I'm speaking to are the innovators. If you are a regurgitator, then you don't need to be on the Jilly Juicer. If you know that you're a regurgitator and you're not an innovator, then you don't need to do Jilly Juice. Just be the regurgitator. Because we need the regurgitators in our society. I know I must honor them on some level. Doesn't mean I have to have them cast spells on my Facebook, of which I deleted someone today. She was on my Facebook before, and I let her back on thinking that maybe she might be open to new information again, but nope, she had to cast another spell. You're not supposed to live forever. Nobody lives forever. That was a spell that she cast on my Facebook, and I deleted her so quick. It was just like, bam. And that's what censorship is when people are casting spells all over the place and they're not responsible for that energy they put out there because they have no control over it. That's why they say, like when Harry Potter, that you're not supposed to study the spells if you don't have control over the spells that you're casting. And you don't give people the means of control over the spells that you cast. Except to go to a doctor and get things taken out. That's what happens when people are irresponsible for the words that they say and the spells that they have absorbed and cast upon others, is that they have to go to the doctor and get those spells taken out of their body. Because they can't convert that energy. And so yeah, this whole God thing in politics, religion, and science, there are frameworks of intention. If you don't understand the intention behind it, you will be parroting for the rest of your life somebody else's mantra. Because there are plenty of words out there in the English language as well as other language that you can develop your thought process and still be aligned with where I'm going. Life is just life. How you want to characterize life cannot be something that is antibiotic. It can't be anti-life. So there's plenty of words and there's plenty of things out there that you could go and put together. You know, Jilly Juice is not the only sand in the sandbox as far as putting words together. You know, when I said something about dogma, doctrines, and what is it? Dogma, doctrines, and diets are the 3 triple D's of disease. John said dysfunction. It's the same thing, but it's a different word. But it's the same thing. And so, yes, it's going to take you looking at the sources where you can find similar words. And then you start writing. And you start, doing the Jilly Juice so you can clear your gut, or else, yes, you're going to be parroting the same mantras. Because all of that spells and all the programming in your body is making you be a parrot. It's making you give your power away. It's turning you into someone who is in conflict with other people all the time, with other politics. But in the Jilly Juice world, it's highly innovative. Not that I don't tolerate regurgitators, but when you cast a spell like raise your vibrations or nobody lives forever, not that it was your intention, Jane. I know it wasn't your intention. But that's where people don't realize the power of their words. They don't realize the power of words. And then when someone Googles raise your vibrations, guess what comes up? All the energy healing world people, all the people that are using energy to destroy their evolution, all the people that love bomb each other, all the people that hate bomb each other. And so when you can get rid of terms that have so much baggage behind it, and then you can create another landscape that still essentially says what you mean, but you really don't know what you mean because you don't have the words, because you haven't cleared your gut. You haven't made a clearing so you can design something original based upon your experience. Through the Jilly Juice, yes, because it's going to be virtually impossible for someone to create their world if they're not doing Jilly Juice. Because eventually their programming is going to kick in. Eventually it'll be too hard and they'll have to go and take from somebody else and just be a parrot. So I see that too in my Jilly Juice world. There are people that are still under residual programming, and it comes out in their words. So the whole thing with the Bible, yes, those are doctrines that are going to be, that are pathways to disease. All the writings out there based upon somebody else's intention. And at some point, you know, innovation must kick in at some point. Regurgitation is kind of like going to the wayside, but it's still needed, but we need more innovators in our society. And so the Jilly Juice platform is innovation for the most part. It is really innovation. And that's the crux of where I'm coming from. And so words create worlds. Words are energy. They are chemistry. And yes, many people are very careless with their words, careless with chemistry. And then they have to go get body parts taken out because they don't know the power of the words that they inflict upon themselves, as well as their predecessors, as well as their children. And so children take on the spells of the parents. All the unresolved issues, all the cancer, disease, and chronic illness, all the curses. Oh, yeah. And it's pretty crazy. So some will think, oh, Jillian's satanic. She's this, she's that, because you can't be your own God. Those are the regurgitators in our society. That's fine. They have a place, but not on my Facebook. Because we need regurgitators and we need innovators, and both have to honor each other, but you don't need to convert each other. And that's what I find, those that completely say the opposite of where I'm coming from is they're trying to convert me. And we have no converters on Jilly Juice. You give people the information, give them the choice, and you step aside. But yeah, censorship is where you are getting rid of those that are trying to convert people and who are irresponsible with their words, irresponsible with their intentions. And so it does translate into cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And that's all I'm going to say right now. But, you know, you are your own God. Gods make mistakes. That's why we are where we are. Or we'd be in a utopian society living amazing and traveling and doing everything and no virus and no this and no that. But here's the thing. If your God in the sky that is all perfect and all knowing and everything really existed, then you wouldn't be where you are today suffering. So the reason why you're suffering, why the world's suffering, is because humans don't know their own potential and they allowed somebody else to dictate their life. And humans are also being used as experiments to figure out a utopian society, because you still need humans, just not 7 billion. So maybe you only need 500 million, if that. And so is there really a God? I am my personal God. I worship me because I'm the one that is the creator of my future. I've been given all of these options, But why the world isn't perfect is because you have to be the one to put everything together and have a specific outcome, or else it would already be done. We wouldn't be where we are today if an actual all-knowing, all-perfect God was out there that would put everything together for you, and you would have to do nothing except sit on your ass and watch Netflix. But the reason why the world isn't the way you want it to be is because you haven't figured out your own power. And you've given it away to a pastor, a priest, a religion, an organization, a political point of view, a holistic remedy, and whatever. And you've given away all your power to everyone else, and you have not actually retained your own power. It's leaking everywhere. And this is going to be very controversial. All right, bye.